Hello everyone and welcome to the first game of a best of 5 series between me and Grubby. In this video series I'm going to explain my point of view, my decision making and what I thought at certain points in those games. To start the best of 5 off, we have Aquals as the first map, with Grubby spawning as the green orc player on the left side of the map, and me spawning as the red human player on the right side of the map. We're both going for the standard opening for each of our races, just a standard altar into burrow. For me it is farm into barracks, and just both going for the standard altar hero. And we're both choosing a solid and safe opening for this matchup. Not going for any special or risky plays yet, like a Terran hero first, Fire Lotar Rush or anything of the likes. So the altars are about to finish. Let's see what heroes we go for. Grubby decides to go for the standard Blade Master, so no Farseer or anything, just the usual Blade Master play for Orc. Whereas I decide to go for the Archmage first, nothing too special to see. I could have decided to go for Mountain King first on Echo Owls and go into some kind of fast expansion play into Griffins and such. But that's not really my kind of playstyle, and I'm much more comfortable with playing Archmage first, so we're gonna see this for the first map. I already sent out a Footman Scout, Grubby is PN scouting. I don't want to waste the Footman Scout time on his PN. I need to find out what he's building in his base, if he's maybe going for a fast tech, going for an early Voodoo Lounge, or anything of the likes. Now let's see what Grubby decides to go for. He could either creep, for example, only the Ogre here to get the item, or go for instant harass, and he decides to go for instant harass, it seems like. I'm just trying to get this creep spot here, and I dealt some damage to his peon because he tried to block me. And his peon trying to block me already tells me that he's most likely going to try to harass me really early on, which is the usual case on Echo Owls in this matchup. Now I try to bait out the Windwalk hit because I'm expecting him to be here. I didn't manage to do it though. He still got the good steal on that Troll Trapper and got 48 EXP out of it, and more importantly he denied me those 48 XP. Now I just want to try to get my level 2, so I want to creep this spot. But he of course is harassing me quite a lot, so I have to somehow make sure I can get this spot without too much trouble. In the meantime, Grubby decides to go for the standard tech timing for Orc. His second grunt is coming already. And I'm still building a few more footmen. I have enough lumber to tech, but not enough gold yet. I need 320 gold to tech, so I'm waiting for this right now. And Grubby decides to not harass more. He doesn't even try to windwalk in to steal the creep. The reason for that is I pulled 4 militia and summoned a second water elemental just to get this green spot. And this tells Grubby that I'm committing a lot to this green spot already. And he basically doesn't even really have to harass me anymore because I sort of harassed myself in a sense. Now it's all about those boots. I get the boots first. Maybe because I had better ping, or I just clicked faster, maybe he didn't select the shop in time, or whatever. In return though, he gets one of my footmen by pulling those creeps and windwalking with his Blade Master, and this footman is already really low HP as well. And Grubby just decides to creep this camp, which is really easy to take with this first Troll Berserkers taking bonus damage from the grunt normal attack damage. And Grubby already hits level 2. He's equipped with a circlet that he bought at the shop. And his Blade Master is dropping quite low, but he still has double Windwalk and more than enough HP, and there's no chance of my level 1 Archmage being able to duel his Blade Master at this point. He decides to buy a Staff of Teleportation because he doesn't have the boots and he wants to be fast around the map. He steps back to his Voodoo Lounge, instantly uses Clarity and Healing Salve. And the big thing about this game already is I didn't manage to hit level 2. I got this green spot and this green spot, but with Grubby stealing that one Forest Troll Trapper, I didn't get enough XP to actually hit level 2, which means I don't have Brilliance Aura. And you can really see it on my mana pool. I summoned 3 water elementals in total in this game, and I can't go for anything else right now. I just don't have the mana regen from the Brilliance Aura, and I desperately try to go for my level 2. But his grunts are already scouting what I'm doing, and I wanted to go for this expansion spot here to creep it to get my level 2. But I knew that his grunts were scouting, and I was afraid that his Blade Master would be close as well, so I decided to not go for that creep. I didn't want to take even bigger risks and just lose the game flat out. Grubby was healing up here, waiting for clarity. Maybe wanted to try to go for this green spot with his Blade Solar. But he saw that I was trying to go for creeping, so he rather decides to get full control of the map and not let me creep at all. I still don't have another water elemental, so I can't even like maybe solo creep this little Murloc to get my level up. And I'm keeping my footmen in my base because I only have 2 footmen in fact, which are both low HP and I don't want them to get picked off. I'm checking the Mercamp here now to make sure he doesn't try to snipe the Renegade Wizard to get the item and the XP, because he could decide to go for that. And I'm basically just waiting for tier 2, waiting for my Mountain King, double Arcane Sanction, power building at least this one as well, just to get my casters out quickly to somehow get map control back to be able to do something against this Blade Master res. And Grubby on the other side just goes for the standard orc play with Bestiary, Spirit Lodge and Barracks. He gets the Grand Upgrade, which provides him with an additional 100 HP and 3 bonus attack damage. Now, what's going on in my head? I got double Arcane Sanction, I'm going for 1 priest to heal up my footmen, because I'm not willing to use Scroll of Regeneration just for those 2 footmen, but I still have 1 in my inventory for after this creep, if I take too much damage on my militia. And I'm pulling 7 militia just to creep this, which is, well, actually 8 militia, which is quite a big commitment, but since I'm so far behind I only have 2 footmen, I have to get something done quickly and also safe. I dusted here to make sure he doesn't steal this creep, because there was a chance that he would be around to try to steal the creeps. I finally hit my level 2 in the Archmage, I get a Ring of Regeneration from the creep, and in the meantime Grubby is solo creeping his expansion spot with the Blade Master, getting another Circlet, and he got a Claws up here, or the other way around, I'm not entirely sure. Now his Shadowhunter joins the creep here as well, and he just tries to get some nice hero levels, while I'm pretty much doing the same. Not even level 2.5 Archmage yet, and not even level 2 Mountain King yet, so it's not looking so good for me. Usually, as human, you have higher hero levels in this matchup. And now comes a crucial part. Grubby's Blade Master is half HP, and he didn't expect me to have a dust. And since I have enough slows and bold and boots on my Mountain King, I can easily take him out. He knew that he wouldn't be able to run away, so he tried to get as much out of it as possible, and he tried to kill some of the footmen, used as many windwalks as he possibly could. Now he speed scrolls away. I bolt the grunt. I could have tried to go for Shadowhunter, but if he has speed scroll, slow doesn't do much on him, and slow doesn't last so long on him, so going for the grunt is a safer choice. And he also bought back his Blade Master at the tavern. So this fight isn't looking so good for me, so I decide to pull Militia. Because I know I'm in trouble and I don't really want to TP out of this, because I can still do something in this fight, and if I TP out now I'm gonna lose all the map control I would ever maybe have. Still no level 2 Water Elemental, so my damage output really isn't so big. He has Spirit Link on his Blade Master, I just get rid of it, but he's running away. And I have no chance of killing his Blade Master right now. I'm out of bolt, so I can just throw a long range bolt. He almost died to my Militia, but not quite. And it's still good for me because his Blade Master isn't in the fight, which means he has a lot less damage. And with this Militia coming in, with having killed 1 Raider, he doesn't have a lot of Ensnare, and he decides to buy a TP at the shop and TP out. Because he knows he can't win this fight against as many Militia, and without his Blade Master, and he doesn't want to lose more units, and just goes for a safe play. He's quite close to level 3 with both of his heroes, and as soon as he hits that double level up, he's gonna have quite a big power spike, especially with the level 2 healing wave. And then he's basically ready to fight. Now, I know that I'm still a little bit behind, but I catched up. But I'm still quite scared of fighting, because my army really isn't that big, and if I don't have Militia support, I don't think I can really take a fight, especially if it's on his side of the map. Now, I just saw that he's not going for an expansion, and I decided to go for an expansion myself. I know that his blade is still not level 3, So I expect him not to scout this too soon, and I rather expected him to creep up to level 3 first to get the level 2 Windwalk to be more mobile around the map, just to have a longer duration on the Windwalk and more movement speed and such. I'm not dusting this. Well, I have the dust, but it's not really worth dusting, and as I just explained, I don't expect him to be on my side of the map right now, so I decide to keep the dust for the fights to come. Now I'm at 46 supply, getting Stroke Adept upgrade. I don't have Adept for the Priests. I can't really get it yet. I don't have the resources or the time for it. And I know that when going for expansion, I don't have much more map control that I can really use. I have to play this rather safe, so I don't see any chances of getting that level 4 Archmage and level 3 Mountain King, so I decide to let my Mountain King solo creep to get that crucial level 2 Bolt. And I will have to make this work with level 1 Brilliance Aura, which is quite uncomfortable for long fights with my casters just running out of mana if they don't have level 2 Brilliance Aura, but I don't really have another choice. Grubby still didn't scout my expansion, as you can see with the Fog of War, and he just continued creeping, going for the Merc camp and this camp. And he got level 3.5 on both of his heroes. He bought the heal scroll already with his Blade Master going to the shop, and his Blade Master has really good items. Basically all he's missing is an invul pod. Now, I think that I can't really go for aggression, and I don't want to because time is on my side. I have this expansion running for me, and Grubby still doesn't know about it. So I just want to make sure I get those items at the shop here, the invul pod and at least one healing scroll. He got the other healing scroll already. And I just want to make sure that he's not expanding. I see that he's not expanding. And I invest my Mountain King to check if he's maybe creeping this spot. I don't run here with my whole army because I don't want to get caught here and I don't really want to go for a straight up fight. I just want to make sure he's not creeping it. If he would have been creeping it, I could have maybe stolen the big creep with a level 2 bolt and steal the item. Grubby in the meantime decided to go for this spot, gets level 4 Shadowhunter. Not quite level 4 Blade Master yet, and he got the Wand of Mana Stealing, which is quite important because at this spot here, big consumable items can drop, like big mana potion and such, which can really be game changing, especially on a Shadowhunter. And since I didn't really have anything better to do and I didn't want to waste more time, I just decided to go for a space, killed one burrow, and his Blade Master moved in early. And I decided to focus it, but I made a big mistake there. I didn't get rid of the Spirit Link right away, so he only received 50% of the damage I dealt to him. And I'm in a really bad spot right now, getting my units and start my casters in the middle of his units. And I still decide to go more for his Blade Master because I know he doesn't have invul pod, he already used the healing pod and he has nothing to save himself except for that heal scroll and Shadowhunter heal. But I didn't manage to get him. Grubby Spirit Links his Blade Master a lot and keeps him safe really well. So it's looking quite bad right now. In this fight I didn't get anything except for him using healing pods and he killed quite a bunch of my units. And I decided it's time to TP out. I have no chance of killing his Blade Master anymore. I don't see good chances of killing any other units without losing more. And I decide to back out. This was an unfavorable trade for me, but at least I bought some time. I'm going to the shop here to get clarity for my Mountain King. There we go, using it already, getting another clarity. I want to make sure I have enough bolts. And sending my Invis Archmage to the shop here. I got a second invul pod just to deny the invul pod from him, to open up the chances of going for Blade Master focus. And he got the heal scroll. So he doesn't have any specific items to really save his Blade Master, except for those heal scrolls and Shadowhunter heals, so if I can get rid of the Spirit Link and focus him if he's in an offensive position, I can maybe do a lot. I instantly go for his Blade Master again because he's in an offensive position. Try to get some damage on him, to try to get him out of the fight so he doesn't deal all the damage. And Grubby went for an interesting choice early on already. He went for Serpent Wards and Healing Waves and no Hex, so hero focusing for him isn't really a good choice usually without Hex. And he's better off trying to go for unit picks with those Serpent Wards and just go for those unit fights instead of full hero focus. I don't have any more bolts, I'm really quite low on mana, and keep in mind I only have level 1 Brilliance Aura, that's why I'm struggling so much with mana in general. I decided to give the clarity that I had on my Mountain King to my Archmage to get more Blizzards, And I'm just trying to buy time. I know that he didn't expand earlier, and I know that I can't take this fight straight up. I'm trying to get into a favorable position with this Arcane Tower and Blizzard, but I was too far out, got my Spellbreaker ensnared, lost one is real low HP, and my casters are really just a low mana count. But Grubby, on the other hand, only has one Spirit Walker left because I focused those a bit, and he's also quite low on mana on his Shadowhunter. Now Grubby, thinking ahead, he already set up a shop here in anticipation of wanting to go for my main base to get a fight going there. Now the thing about that is usually you don't want to fight against human main base because there's a lot of militia there, but since I expanded I have less militia. Although I still have 6 militia, which still is quite a bit because I decided to rebuild some militia. And now I thought that Grubby was just going for a counter expansion and leaving the aggression part, but that's actually not the case, and since I don't have a TP, I have to run all the way from this spot up here. I decided to go for a spot. I took a risk there because I thought he was pulling back and I still had some time to go for a spot to get a bit more of an advantage, but that's not the case. My MK moves in really offensively, which was quite scary, but Grubby didn't decide to go for it. He didn't want to commit too much to it, especially because I had Invul Pod. He got a Spellbreaker here with ensnaring it and eating it up with the Kodo. He decides not to keep this position with a Serpent Board, so he goes for a more defensive position, and he just uses Clarities all the time on Shadowhunter with the shop here. Now we can see that Grubby doesn't decide to go for a counter expansion. He already got Pillage earlier on, I believe. Yes, he got Pillage early on as well as one attack upgrade, so to balance out my expansion he basically wants to pillage my buildings and try to go for favorable trades. And I'm not entirely sure if he's going for expansion or not behind all of this because I didn't scout it. But nevertheless, I know that I can take a straight up fight right now, and I just try to buy time to get that gold advantage out of my expansion even further, and just try to get more and more units, especially more Spellbreakers to get a bigger block line to be able to use Blizzard more effectively. I sent my militias out because I thought I might have to go for like a straight up fight, or just to pull the militia to scare him away more, but they were out too far. I lost one is low HP, and now I want to make sure that he can't get into my base. I have to repair this farm. And I just try to pull back all the time, get some slow on his units, and get some damage done with Blizzard and try to out-sustain him with the Brilliance Aura. Well, hopefully he's going low on mana, which he is on the Shadowhunter, as well as on his Spirit Walkers. The Spirit Walkers still have quite a bunch of mana though, because he didn't even use Spirit Link and no Disenchant, because he knows he has to preserve his mana and, if possible, health as well. And now it's a more straight up fight. It's quite offensive for me. I lost the Spellbreaker already. He decides to go for a lot of focus on my Mountain King. I decided to get the Invul Pod going there because I have 2 more Invul Pods anyway, and I didn't want my MK to drop too low, just to make sure I can always keep him in the fight. He tries to go for an Irish Mage. I pull the Invul Pod on him as well, and I focus his Blade Master a lot. Now, before I bolt him, I always want to make sure I get rid of the Spirit Link and then bolt him to deal more damage. And also I decide to go for so much Blade Master focus to be able to keep him out of the fight. Like, now he can't join the fight, and Grubby loses a lot of damage through that. Now he decides to pull away. While he's running away, I can get one more grunt, almost 2. And Grubby instantly gets Clarity going again, heals up, and he's really close to level 5 Shadowhunter. I'm quite scared of that because level 5 Shadowhunter just makes trading much more effective for him. And his Blade is still low HP as a heal pad though, but no Spirit Link, so I can deal some nice damage to him. And I just want to make sure he always stays out of the fight. That's the main reason also why I bought all those Invul Pods, so he can't get them. Now you can see my Irish Mage is on low HP. Level 1 Brilliance Aura really isn't good enough, but now I got my level 2 Brilliance Aura finally, so I'm getting better. I'm getting into a better situation. I can get Grubby away from my base, away from this Voodoo Lounge, and he has to forfeit his good position there. In the meantime though, he sent a grunt down here to my expansion to get rid of those peasants, which was a really great move. I was actually really afraid of him doing that a lot earlier already, because I couldn't have done so much about it in my current situation, but I decided to go for it late, but nevertheless he killed all the 5 peasants. I have to rebuild them. I get less gold income for some time. and I have to get into a better position again. Now I think I scouted his expansion earlier with an invisible footman, if I'm not mistaken. I know that he set up sentry wards here, so I decide to dust those and get rid of those just to make sure he doesn't have so much map control. I have 66 supply, I have a really big army against 48 supply. The only thing that Grubby really has going for him right now is a level 5 Shadowhunter and almost level 5 Blade Master against, well, level double 4. The thing is that level 5 Shadowhunter is just really, really strong. But he actually decided to go for level 3 Serpent Wards instead of level 3 Healing Wave. And now the fight breaks out. Grubby knows that he has to take this fight right away, because looking at the situation here, I still have 2 gold mines running for such a long time. Grubby is not building any more units really, he's slow on resources, and if he doesn't take this fight, it's only going to get worse for him. So it's a straight up fight now. I managed to buy all the items at the shop here, double heal scroll, invul pot, and I still have 1 invul pot for each of my heroes. And his Blade Master got into a really bad position here. He was out of mana already, pretty much. He didn't have invul pot. His Shadowhunter is quite low in mana as well. I can always get rid of his Spirit Link on his Blade Master. I managed to get this around with the bolt earlier, and I can kill his Blade Master. Now I'm in a really, really good position. He's trying to run away with his Shadowhunter. I want to get this around. I don't quite get it though. I know that he's going for the Talon Revive on his Blade Master, but if he goes for it, he doesn't have Spirit Link. I still have 1 more bolt, and he gets revived here, so I know that I can instantly kill him, and Grubby knows it as well. I think he... Does he have resources? He doesn't even fully have the resources to buy him back. I get this round on the Shadowhunter, and it is GG. So... Grubby had the hero advantage in this game, but it wasn't quite enough. I just had a big resources advantage, as you can see here. I had a lot more resources, more than 3k more, and I lost 2.6k to upkeep as well. So in the end, I basically overpowered him with the bigger army. I just bought enough time to get my big army going and managed to overpower him that way. So this concludes the first game of this best of 5 series, with me taking away the win, and it's 1-0 for me in this series. And you guys will see in the next video how it continues. Until then, see you guys and see you in the next video.